Coming up on today's show, now that the offseason is officially here for the San Francisco 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo trade rumors and destinations are starting to heat up. We have to talk about Kyle Shanahan and his shortcomings and another fourth quarter playoff loss, and I'm going to make the argument as to why I think it's time to start Trey Lance as a starting quarterback. But first, we're all hurting together as a Niner empire, as the faithful, because that loss yesterday to the Rams in the NFC Championship game was certainly a gut punch, getting outscored 13-0 in the final frame. But do you think the season was a success? Do you think the season was a disappointment? Your opportunity to voice your opinions in the comment section. If I told you that San Francisco would make it to a second NFC title game in 3 years after starting 3-5, I think a lot of you would have taken that, but I want to see where the faithful is at. Get those votes in, and let's talk some Niners football right now. Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. This is our therapy session together. We're going to talk about the latest 49ers news and rumors, but first, today's show presented to you by our friends at the Fetch Rewards app. This app has been an absolute game changer for me. You can scan your receipts with the app from any purchase that you make, earn points on those receipts from any store or restaurant, and in the process, redeem those points for gift cards and other rewards. You can start off with getting 3,000 bonus points by using that link down below, chatsports.com/fetch, and enter the promo code 49ers. That link will be available in the comment section as well as the description of this video. So it's yet another bad fourth quarter loss in the playoffs for Kyle Shanahan, and I still think he's the right man for the job. In fact, I think he's the best young coach in the NFL ahead of Sean McVay. I mean, he lost his first game to McVay in 7 opportunities, but the losses in the fourth quarter of playoff games as Shanahan as a head coach and offensive coordinator is a concerning trend, and that alarming trend is something that he's going to have to shake over time. Shanahan in the fourth quarter, the last 3 playoff losses as a head coach and OC, the numbers are not good. Got outscored 13-0 against the Rams at SoFi Stadium on Sunday. 2019 in the Super Bowl, outscored 21-0. 2016 against the Patriots as the Falcons OC outscored 19-0. And in total, in those 3 playoff defeats, outscored in the final frame 53-0. That ain't great. While Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, is the brightest young offensive mind at the head coaching spot in the NFL, he does certainly have to shake that stigma. And this is something that's been happening over the last few years for San Francisco. Nick Wagner of ESPN saying this: over the past 3 years, the 49ers are now 3-2 with a 10-plus point fourth quarter lead in the playoffs. The rest of the league, 23-0. The 2 losses, of course, were in the Super Bowl and in the NFC title game against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, I said this a little while ago. Kyle Shanahan is the right man for the job. And after that 3-5 start, in which it was really, really ugly in the Bay Area, a lot of people were calling for Kyle Shanahan to get fired. I stood firm in my stance in saying Shanahan cannot get fired. If he did, he'd be offered a head coaching job before he even left the facility in Santa Clara. And look, let's take a grand view of what Shanahan has been able to do in his 5 years as the Niners head coach. Do we forget how ugly it was after Chip Kelly and Jim Tomsula? This organization following Harbaugh was in an awful spot. And Shanahan and John Lynch have helped stabilize things with a good coaching staff and a very good front office. A front office that other teams are trying to interview members of for their vacant general managing openings. 2 NFC title games in 3 years and nearly 2 Super Bowl appearances in 3 years. That's a good track record of success in a short time for still a very young head coach. And the way that Niners were able to really rally after that 3-5 start, finishing the year having won 9 of their last 12 games. Week 18, you go up against the Rams on the road. You come back from 17-0 as underdogs and you win. You take down the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card round in a really thrilling win. And then against the Green Bay Packers in the divisional round, number 1 seed, inclement weather, snow falling against the likely MVP and Aaron Rodgers, and you find a way to win that game as well. And then you go into the fourth quarter yesterday with the 17-7 advantage, and you're unable to really finish the deal. Kyle Shanahan is a young, bright, intelligent offensive mind, and that caters and fits with where the NFL is and where it's going to continue to go. It's an offensive league, and that is Kyle Shanahan's forte. I think what's held him back as well as this team lack of a dynamic quarterback, which we'll explore here coming up next. But first, I want your feedback once more. We're all about the audience engagement here on the 49ers Report. What is your level of confidence in Kyle Shanahan? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 being, you want him fired, you think he's a fraud. 10 being, very, very confident. I'm trending toward 10. You let me know in the comment section right now. Now, this is why you should subscribe to the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. We had well over 120,000 people join us for our 49ers-Rams watch party, but even though the games have stopped, our coverage never stops here on the channel. We'll be breaking down NFL free agency coverage. We'll be bringing you NFL draft coverage as well, hitting you with the latest 49ers news and rumors, giving you free daily videos. We'll still go live every single Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. We're all about the audience interaction with the faithful, and we are the largest 49ers news and rumors channel on YouTube. Yesterday, able to surpass 54,000 subscribers. Shout out to All-Pro Fred Warner. So make the right decision. This is your one-stop shop for the best offseason coverage for San Francisco. And hit that red subscribe button down below. You watch how that game transpired yesterday in that loss against the Rams, and really how the last couple of years have transpired. With Jimmy Garoppolo as the quarterback and with Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard as the quarterback. The Niners have long been and still are a top 10 QB away from really winning it all. Imagine if San Francisco had a more dynamic threat at the quarterback position. Everything else is set. I love the way that DeMeco Ryans' defense played since week 10 on. They were the best unit arguably in the NFL. The offensive line is very good. You have multiple elite skill players on the offensive and defensive side of the football and an elite head coach. What you're missing is a dynamic element at the quarterback position, a top 10 guy to really push this team to the next level. Of course, a lot of people are going to try to pinpoint the blame on multiple areas, including that Jaquiski Tartt interception drop, which was certainly crushing. It changed the momentum of the game. It paved open an opportunity for the Rams to put points on the board for that eventual win. But really, it was the mistake-prone and limited Jimmy Garoppolo rearing its head as the biggest reason, in my opinion, for why the Niners aren't going to Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium. And if they went there, I think they'd take down the Cincinnati Bengals for a second time this year. The Super Bowl window for this team, folks, is not closed. It is still wide open. You have players under contract. You have a combination of young and older experienced players on this team who are all ready to win right now. You look and canvass the roster, and you're like, the Super Bowl window is open, and I think Trey Lance moving forward, now that he got an opportunity to sit in his rookie year for the majority of the season, with the exception of those 2 starts, I think by starting him, you kind of unlock this offense, which I'll get into here further, and it further opens up and keeps open the Super Bowl window for the San Francisco 49ers. Is it time, before we start talking about Trey Lance, to make Trey Area the starter after you mortgaged picks to move up for him at number 3, and you saw the athletic component to his game, both throwing the football and running it, and the lack thereof with Jimmy Garoppolo? Type Y for yes, it's time for Trey time. Type N for no. Once again, you get your votes in and sound off in the comment section. As I mentioned off the top, 49ers Report presented to you by the Fetch Rewards app. What is the Fetch Rewards app, Chase? It's a game-changing app. You pull it up, just like this video example to my right. No matter where you make a purchase, you pull out your phone, you open up the Fetch Rewards app, you snap a picture by hitting that orange icon, and by scanning your receipts over time, you get bonus points with every receipt that you scan, and that then leads to you getting free gift cards to places like Target, Amazon, Starbucks, Fanatics, and many more stores. Again, very easy, free to use by plugging in that link down below, chatsports.com/fetch. Enter the promo code 49ers. Not only do you get 3,000 bonus points to start off, but also in doing so, you're able to get free gift cards. So earn points on any receipt from any store or restaurant, then redeem those points for gift cards and other rewards. I use this app anytime I make a purchase. You plug in that link down below. It takes you to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. Once again, I'll put that link in the comments section as well as the description of this video. The Los Angeles Rams, going back to that dynamic quarterback conversation, a perfect example of what happens when you get a more dynamic signal caller under center. changes the entire complexion of the offense, changes the entire threat of the team. And look, Jared Goff was a good quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo helped lead the Niners to a Super Bowl. So too did Jared Goff, but now the Rams are going back to the Super Bowl because they have a much more dynamic player in Matthew Stafford who can make any throw on the field, who has the confidence to just let it rip and find his weapon somewhere downfield. He's willing to take risks, and he just adds a completely different dimension to that Rams offense. That's what the Niners can do if they move forward with Trey Lance. Imagine what Lance can look like in Kyle Shanahan's offense, which is already a run-heavy offense, which actually aids and helps Trey Lance if he has a full offseason workload. He's a young player. He was drafted at 20 years old. He only played one game in 2020 at the FCS level because of COVID. He's still somewhat inexperienced, only attempted in his college career a little more than 300 passes, but in glimpses, in moments against Arizona in his first start and against the Texans in that second start after he found his footing, we're like, my goodness, this guy can let it rip. He can run. Can you imagine what he can do with Kyle Shanahan at his disposal as a lethal play caller? Lance with the full offseason workload to work and fine-tune some of those mechanics and get a better grasp of the offense with Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Alex Mack, Laken Tomlinson. This Niners offense can take it to the next level and maybe like the Rams, push forward and move through that next initial phase and get back to true Super Bowl contention. Kyle Shanahan was asked about Jimmy Garoppolo's future after the game, and this is what he had to say. Hey, he kept it vanilla. Of course he did. I love Jimmy. I'm not going to sit here in the aftermath of that game and make a farewell statement. That's the last thing on my mind. I love coaching Jimmy. But I think it's inevitable. I think it's imminent that the Niners are going to explore trade talks for Garoppolo. Now, we continue to add to the list of Jimmy Garoppolo trade destinations. This is a list that I have put together of the quarterback-needy teams in the NFL. Pittsburgh Steelers, Washington Football Team, Carolina Panthers, Denver Broncos, Cleveland Browns if they want to move off of Baker Mayfield. New Orleans Saints don't have a quarterback because Taysom Hill ain't it. New York Giants now with Brian Daboll. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to be added to the equation now because of what looks to be a Tom Brady retirement. What's also interesting is that the odds makers have released odds for Jimmy Garoppolo's next team in 2022. Pittsburgh Steelers leading the pack at plus 400. Washington Football Team right there as well at 4-1 odds. The Buccaneers climbing the ladder at plus 550. And the Denver Broncos with Nathaniel Hackett, former OC of the Green Bay Packers, taking that head coaching job, coming in at plus 600. I've continued to say this, and I think because Garoppolo helped lead the Niners to a second NFC title game in 3 years, and really, you look at it, he was hurt all last year, so in 2 healthy seasons, in his last 2 healthy years, he led his team to the Final Four. I think San Francisco, while his value is high, can get a second-round pick back for Jimmy G. We just laid out a bunch of teams who are in need of a quarterback, who are going to get desperate, and some of those teams can compete next year, not with the rookie, it's a weak quarterback draft class, but with the veteran in Jimmy G, who, if he's surrounded by the necessary pieces, good defense, a run game, quality coaches, he's shown that he can be successful. I think Trey Lance can be successful in this offense because of his dynamic, elite ability to make any throw on the field. In between the hashes, crossing routes, corner routes, throwing it out to the perimeter, and he poses a different threat to the defense that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't with his ability to use his legs. I think with Trey Lance under center, makes the offense more explosive because he can complete any throw on the football field and take the top off of the defense in a way that Jimmy G can't. The offense would be less predictable because of his ability to really run the football and keep defenses on their toes. Because of that, he's going to help out the run game, and Kyle Shanahan always has this run game humming no matter which running back is back there, if it's Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell, or another dude. And then the downfield pass game could improve because of the play action element with Lance as the quarterback. I think it's time to move forward with Trey Lance. I thank Jimmy Garoppolo for what he's been able to do over his last several years in the Bay Area. A lot of success. 2 NFC title games in 3 seasons, 1 Super Bowl appearance, and a couple plays away yesterday from making it to another one. But it's really those bad Jimmy Garoppolo turnovers that just serve as misfortune for this football team, and they cost the Niners in many, many situations and games this year and in years prior. And that's now 4 consecutive games in which Jimmy Garoppolo threw an interception. That backbreaker to end the game yesterday, really, everything came full circle, and you're like, man, that Jimmy G pick, you knew it was coming. It came at the wrong time, and it cost the Niners a berth in the Super Bowl. So with that, I ask you this. Predict Jimmy Garoppolo's next team. Is it going to be San Francisco? Another one of those teams that we talked about? Get those team names in the comments section, and make sure you give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram. As I mentioned, our coverage is only beginning here on the 49ers Report. It's been an absolute pleasure, an absolute blast to serve as host for this wonderful fan base and this wonderful organization all year. Took over the channel after the NFL draft in April, and we took the 49ers Report to new heights. More than 1 million video views over the last 28 days, more than 54,000 subscribers. This is your one-stop shop. So interact with me, Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. It's the same handle on both.